people got killed from that drifting. How they do these car things like that.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. Why would you try to take a virtual world and make it reality? And Judaism says, by the way, an amazing thing. Here's the positive. We are living in a virtual world. There are two things happening. There's a spiritual world, there's a physical world. And just like you could understand in the virtual world, there is a dimension there there's another dimension in this virtual world. There's actually a dimension of the physical world called the spiritual world. And you can actually, you take the physical things in this world and the spiritual things, and we collide them together. They're not virtual and physical. In the real world, they're symmetrical, or they connect. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. I'm just making it off the spot. Maybe somebody else has a better thought about it. But you could show them, the movie The Matrix, right? The Matrix is basically an idea that there's a physical world that's disgusting, but the computers create a mirage or facade of that world. And the trick, the smart people in the world know to see through it. So when I see a virtual game, a video game, can I see through what that is? Waste of time, waste of energy, waste of time, killing time, not using your time adequately. When you finish the game after an hour, what have you really accomplished? You want to get to a certain place. You're never fulfilling yourself spiritually. You're never getting to where you want to be. There's always another game. There's always tons of time. Why aren't you accomplishing something? There's a million reasons why to get into a conversation. I'm not saying it's good or bad. There's a lot of ways to upgrade the conversation about the values and the virtues of video and say, well, is it on the one side it's negative, on the other side you can use it for a spin on spirituality. Maybe you want to say something.
Yeah, it's like, somebody experiment to TV and movies with the girls while I learn with. Like a lot of times they'll just like talk to each other about what happened on last week's episode of whatever, which like I haven't seen or whatever, and it's hard to sort of shift that to learning.
Yeah. I would. A lot of it's the same kind of conversation, but I would talk about the fact. I would discuss something. By the way, it's a Jewish thing. I would say, do you believe culture and society mimics television, or do you think television mimics society? Do you think that people who are producing television shows are doing it because the world actually is like that, or is the world actually like that because of television shows? So now, watch what you can do with this. Do you believe society should be anything like television? Should people be having these kind of relationships? Is that normal? And if TV is actually inspiring society, then TV is corrupt and horrible. And if society is impacting television, then maybe there's a way to fix society so we can have better television. That's an interesting conversation. The other conversation, which actually just slipped my mind. Yep.
Yeah, you can try to change the conversation into, instead of what the plot is, but there are always underlying themes of, take a show like Glee. I don't know if any of you guys have seen or haven't seen, but they're very open, and it's a very type of liberal type of show, I would say. And you can try to point out what the theme, again, not even if you haven't seen it, you can ask them what the theme of that episode was. Because every TV show, every series, every individual show, in their 20 minutes is trying to get to you some sort of theme. And that theme can be twisted into Judaism's take on X, Y, or Z.
That's a good point. Excellent. You might want to do that because then you got to get into the conversation, but I would ask sometimes, like, what did you gain from that half hour? But I've met a kid who I tried to tell him to come to my house for a shiur that I give on Wednesdays, and he told me he can't because he's watching a television show that he doesn't miss. And then he went on to tell me that he actually is following 13 television shows every week. He told me the schedule. Is something called Once Upon a Time, something like Bewitched or some kind of witch thing? Okay, Once Upon a Time. I didn't know that was back on TV, that kind of like thing. He told me this, and he told me 13 shows that he's watching regularly. 13 shows. So that's about 13 hours a week. Are they 1 hour shows, half hour? Well, sitcoms are half hour, right? So, okay, so here's what I would do. First of all, I'll tell you a couple things. First of all, I would talk about the fact that is unbelievable. Like, I understand what it is. Maybe people do that regularly. It's not surprising, right? That's pretty normal. I remember doing a study we found out that kids on average were on the internet surfing and or reading or using the internet, whatever it was, in excess of 40 or between 40 and 60 hours a week are on the internet. from Google to watching movies to YouTube, whatever it is, 40, 60 hours a week. They're going to spend 13 hours on television. That's not the end of the world. We get that. But I would also have a conversation about what is being sold. Now, you're not going to make a change when they're 16, but you can get them to think. For every 60 minutes of television, there's 18 minutes of commercial. It's 42 minutes or so of real show, and about 18 minutes of that. For every 7 minutes, there's a commercial. The reason for that is that people they don't have the sitzfleisch and the attention to go through an entire episode. And you can be 42 minutes to take off the commercial. Commercials are there to enable you to be caught up deeper into the story. That's the reason. Now here's the question. Are television shows invented so that they can service you, or are television so invented so they can sell you merchandise? Now, who makes television shows? How do they function? So CNN, which is something I do watch on the internet, I watch those videos on an app that says CNN, and after exercise I watch 2 clips of what's going on in the world, mostly about the Malaysia airline today. And I watch this 2-minute clip, 3-minute clip, and it's all about commercials. In other words, the people that are attracted to CNN are people who are, in other words, the commercials for Xerox and the commercial for this company and that company, they know that they're going to be watching CNN. So CNN is designed to attract a certain audience that's going to watch that commercial. That commercial is designed to be a producer of people for CNN. Because what is television really doing? It's manipulation of your brain, frankly. Now, you're not going to get this to a kid. And frankly, none of us really understand what I just said. Even I don't. But there is a reality to that. And since are you in control of yourself? Are you free to choose? As I mentioned last night, are you free to watch TV? Are you free to, or this is what everybody does? And the reason you watch it, imagine this next scenario. The reason you watched that show last night so that you could have something to talk about with your friends tomorrow. And if you didn't have to watch that show, you didn't have to talk with your friends, are they really your friends? Or are they going to talk to somebody else about stuff? And you're excluded. In other words, the only reason you're part of the club is because you watched the show last night. Is that normal? It can't be. And if you're not talking about the show and you're still with your friends, what will you talk about? What would happen in that group? So they're going to talk about some other show, or they're going to talk about boys and girls, they're going to talk about who broke up with who. It's all going to be stupidity. So the point is, you can show that some of the TV shows, again, this is a very deep conversation. I don't know where you're ever going to say this stuff. It's important to see that you can say this stuff and go in a certain direction. And you show that you could actually, that television, that this thing that makes them popular, that actually groups the people together, is actually based on the most unbelievable stupidity I've ever seen, you're ever going to see in your life. I grew up on television. I spent a lot of time, a lot of time watching TV. Actually today, when I go to a hotel, there is no greater joy, none, than sitting on the bed and I don't even watch TV. I just click. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I spend 1 minute on each one. I don't care what it is. I'm clicking. I don't have television at home, so this is the greatest thing ever. Just so my brain turns off. That's what I have in the hotel, so I can't wait to travel. Anyway, I'm not sure if I answered your point, but the idea is that every single thing that's occurring to them can be something else. So you're not just watching television, you're being spoken to by media. You're not just watching TV, you're talking about society. And can society be upgraded if we change television? Can you change television by changing society? I don't know. But the discussion of raising the bar on the conversation of even TV is powerful. Anybody else suggestions on this stuff? I'm really just shooting from the hip.
I'm going to do sports.
Yep.
Like how you turn about like sports, which isn't it's not actually as bad as like we have other things, but it's
First
still
of all, yeah. But if I wanted to upgrade the conversation to sports, I would do the following. What makes a team a team? Is it the rules? Is it the helmet? Is it the clothing? What makes a team a team? The leader? I would start talking about the fact that all those elements actually make a team. Let's say you send a group of people onto the field, let's say it's football, and they're all wearing different jerseys, and they're all wearing different helmets, and they all have different numbers, and they're all doing different plays. They're all doing their own thing on the team, on the field. What would happen? Chaos. Let me tell you what Judaism tells us. God created an amazing nation called the Jewish people, and we're all part of that nation. It's a gift. And he says you can dress anywhere you want, you can be anywhere you want, you can read from any rule book, there's free will, you can choose wherever you want. But no matter what, You can't be a team. There's no way to put you together. But what Hashem says, wait a minute, I want to create an unbelievable team because the team together can accomplish so much more. So I'm going to say to you, there's something called sneeze. I'm going to say something called kashrus. I'm going to tell you that when you wear a kippah and tzitzis, you're actually wearing a uniform. You wear a dress appropriately like a bas Yisrael, you're wearing a uniform. Uniforms, clothing, plays, playbook, rule book, all are incorporated in Jewish life. If you can respect the team on the field, why can't you respect what Judaism is telling you? Because it's all the same thing. So I'm again, just off the top of my head, 12-second rule. And the idea is, can you turn a conversation about sports? By the way, we're not saying sports is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, can you take sports and say something even more important about, strategy, pre-thinking, preparation. Are those amazing? Those are all unbelievable things in sports. Why take that away? The effort, the stamina, the cooperation, the team, the camaraderie. And then you can talk about that terrible guy, Lance Armstrong, and talk about theft in Gneva's Das, and how he did that, and what winning really means. Winning at all costs, that's what it's about. You talk about Madoff, winning at all costs, that's what it's about. There's so many areas you could talk about. Like if I was doing halftime footballs, no one wants to hear this stuff. But if you're doing a sheer on football or whatever it is, I would talk about the benefits of sports and paralleling that with the benefits of organized religion, as an example. There's a lot of areas you can go on this, but that's the kind of approach I would go. You're in a place watching a game, or you talk about a game, that's awesome. Do you see what he did in the last second? You see how he passed the ball? You see how he was more about the assist than he was about the stardom? One of the things I saw, I can't remember what his name was. What the hell was his name? I can't remember his name. When I was a kid, I used to watch him a lot. He almost never shot. He didn't want to take the pass. Who?
John Stockton.
Oh, maybe that's a more modern name. But he always passed the ball to some guy to get to a basketball to make it something. He wasn't so interested in himself if he should get the point, but he was so interested in the assist. The assistancy. He wasn't such a great player, but he was always about the assist. He always found him in the zone.
For Canadians, Gretzky also says something like that.
Gretzky, okay, that's a good one. But and that made, I don't know if that made him great, because you have to get some, what's that?
Score.
You have to score.
But he always said he valued assists more.
Okay, right. He did, because he got all the glory. That's right. But the guy was the assist. That guy's a hero too, right? But we don't look at those people. But I think in general, there's a lot of things in sports that you can accumulate and incorporate into a meaningful conversation, upgrading that, no matter where you start. We time for one more. Anybody else? Anything they would add to what I just said? I have no idea. I'm just really playing it for just.
You covered the three main topics that kids talk about.
Music, girls, sports. Yeah, pretty much. We talk music, TV. What's that?
Celebrity in general. The goal of
Yeah,
people just to
excellent. That's so easy to kill. Celebrity is meaningless success. Meaningless success. You get to a certain point and you want more, and you want more because the first thing you were searching for was never there. You never found meaning in it. So you get to the platinum, music, and you get to the success in Parnassa. The guy who has $5 million, what does he want? $6 million. The guy has $60 million. What does he want? $61 million. There's no, this lady, what's that name? That girl, Canadian girl, the Jewish girl killed herself. Waterhouse, whatever her name was. She died.
Oh,
Winehouse. Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. I mean, what? She dead?
She's British but Jewish.
She's Jewish, yeah. Sorry, right. She what a schmata. She tattooed herself. She has a sick problem. She's in and out of hospitals all day long. Let's use Justin Bieber as an example right now, right? He's fall from fame. Here's a guy who could have had it all, right? Living the American dream, Canadian dream. And at the end, what is he? He's disgusting. What is it about? Is it about that? Now you want to be that guy. You want to be Justin Bieber. Well, I don't want to be Justin Bieber. I want to be like Justin Bieber. Why? Because you can't find happiness in what you're doing now. Maybe you have talent. Go be awesome at what you do. You don't have to be that guy. Find awesomeness in maybe taking, but also giving. What does Justin Bieber's and his celebrity offer to the world? Great music? Great. Beautiful. That's it? But people might say, that's great. That's what he did. Great music. I don't know if it's great. I don't want to say it. Let's assume it's great music. That's where you stop? That's where it's about? What has he done? Has he feed the homeless? Are there people within 1 mile of his house, which for sure is true, do not have places to live and to eat? Is it not possible that he's totally ignoring other people while he's at his own? Is that what Judaism says? Is that what your life is about? You're going to have stardom. You're gonna be successful. Is it all about what you get? Is it not what you get so that you can give? What is the life? What is choice? So, yeah, celebrities is such an easy way to destroy them. Anything else? Last one. School. School's good. Stay in school. What's the question there?
Well, like they're just talking about school. How would you?
Well, first of all, I think that's good, frankly, if they're actually talking about school, and they want to talk about school, they want to upgrade their life. I think that's great, because school is a way to...
Like school, like while they're in school, about, like, not like...
what they're studying and stuff like that? First of all, in that case, I would actually try to help them. Do you have an exam I can help if you have a test? Is something I can check? What's that?
They're in different programs then.
You mean talking university? What are you talking about?
Well, like,
You mean they're calculus, but you have calculus?
kind of.
Okay, so that you can't really do that. And if you know anything about it, a little bit of Torah, you can talk about that a few weeks ago when that pi came from is in the Gemara already. Pi is mentioned in the Gemara. So there's a lot of stuff like that. There's Torah science, you can get into that stuff, biology. There's a million stuff like that to show them. Well, that's amazing. You learning about that? If you know that the Torah talks about that, the Gemara talks about that, constellations, astronomy, all that. You can talk about that. But
What if they're just talking about like how they're stressed out about school?
so that's also important. Stress is a big topic. So you can talk about. By the way, people deal with stress in many different ways. If you deal with stress and it motivates you, it's great. Sometimes people use stress and it's shut them down. So you have to tell them that, first of all, there are, well, this is a deeper conversation, but we don't have that much time. God runs the world. And you're going to do the best you can. And in life, that's what actually the best you can brings you to a certain place. If you get A's in everything, but I'm not sure a person does that. Every girl I know does. But if sometimes the things that you don't do so well in are actually the greatest things in your life because you always learn from failure. And I wouldn't say the person should fail, but to not worry about always getting the A in everything because that's not where you don't learn in life from great success. You learn from failure. That doesn't help the person who's studying that moment and trying to be good. But it does say that if you look at the world is not about the grade. The world is not going to be defined by this course. The world is not going to define even what you do after university. The world will be defined by how you dealt with setbacks, how you deal with crisis, how you deal with situations. That's what's going to speak to you. You don't have to be the best in everything to be successful. You can overcome the challenges, and that way you'll be better. Okay, I don't know if this was good or bad, but I enjoyed talking with you. Thank you so much. And I have these things. This is not for sort of like what we're talking about, but it's more not about the Torah topics, but how to actually upgrade the conversation, how to think about things. If you want to, maybe I'll put them on the table so you know.